Unfortunately, military failures and curiosities are not so rare. Howbeit, the human factor always plays a significant role in such a situation, but sometimes the equipment itself fails. We have again prepared for you a selection of 12 military curiosities caught on camera. The Saut Rafale. Two French military planes that flew very close to the ground have struck electrical lines and cut the power supply to a village in the south of France. The two Rafale aircraft had taken off from a nearby airbase on a low-altitude training flight, reports say. It went so low that it made a hell of a din. I then looked up and saw the second aircraft, the village's mayor told local news outlet France Bleu. Further down the road, he says he came across sectioned electric cables hanging on the ground. Soryu. The incident involving the diesel-electric submarine JS Soryu and the Hong Kong-flagged bulk carrier Ocean Artemis occurred while the former was participating in a Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force training exercise some 40 kilometers southeast of Cape Ashizuri. Japanese Defense Minister Nobu Kishi said that, as Soryu is attempting to surface, it accidentally scraped the hull of the bulk carrier. The collision resulted in damage to the submarine's conning tower, dive planes, and communications equipment. However, the minister assured the media that the vessel was still capable of sailing safely under its own power. FA-18. Two Royal Australian Air Force aviators ejected safely from their FA-18F Super Hornet fighter jet after an aborted takeoff at RAF Base Amberley. Video and photos of the incident show that the jet came off the runway and seemed to have ended up with some damage to its nose gear. Onlookers said that they saw the crew eject from the Super Hornet as it was about to take off, and two parachutes can be seen deployed in a video, seen below, that subsequently emerged online. Prince of Wales. A flood on board the Royal Navy's newest aircraft carrier, HMS Prince of Wales, has delayed the program. The flood had caused damage to one of the ship's engine rooms and reported that the damage would leave the aircraft carrier stuck alongside Portsmouth Naval Base for the next 6 months. The flood was caused by a burst fire main that left the engine room and electrical cabinets submerged for over 24 hours. Su-24M. A Russian Air Force Sukhoi Su-24M bomber aircraft fell into a ditch during transportation via road. The plane was transported in tow along the Ossinovka-Rudnaya-Pristin route. There is not any official information from the military about the incident. The plane was on its way to being repaired or scrapped. The plane was transporting without a keel and tail, with the wings removed. Su-27. A video of the Ukrainian Air Force exercises in the Rivne region, where the pilots of Su-27 fighters practiced landing on the Kiev Chop route, appeared on the web. The corresponding video on YouTube was published by the Ukrainian TV channel. As follows from the video, one of the Su-27 fighters, when practicing takeoff and landing on a highway, demolished a road sign when descending. The description for the video says that the fighter touched a road sign that informed about the recommended speed of 90 kilometers an hour, after which, together with its debris in the air intake, it rose into the sky. Bonhomme Richard. The U.S. Navy will not repair the amphibious assault ship Bonhomme Richard, which burned in San Diego. The ship burned for more than 4 days and was the Navy's worst U.S. warship fire outside of combat in recent memory. The extensive damage to the flat top's flight deck, island, mast, and lower levels would have required about 60% of the ship to be replaced. To rebuild and repair the 22-year-old amphib, it would have cost between $2.5 billion and $3.2 billion and would have taken 5 to 7 years. Mi-35. A Mi-35 helicopter got stuck under a bridge while trying to be transported by the National Transitional Council in Libya. The rotorcraft was loaded onto a car platform, but could not be transported further than the nearest bridge. Not paying attention to the altitude, the helicopter carrying it made a collision with the concrete partition of the automobile bridge, which led to the temporary jam of the Mi-35 and its damage. F-16. A video of the risky landing of an F-16 fighter on a rain-drenched runway appeared on the web. The aircraft approached the ground with too much pitch and too high vertical speed. As a result, the fighter hit its wheels on the runway and bounced, and then touched the concrete with the rear fuselage. The video shows a flash from metal to stone contact and even some detail flying off the plane. Rubis. One of France's 6 Rubis-class nuclear-powered submarines, the Pearl, burned for more than 14 hours in an unbelievably fierce fire. June 12, 2020, in dry dock while undergoing major renovations by Naval Group, which were due to end in February 2021. There was absolutely no nuclear fuel aboard and not a single weapon. In fact, the submarine was stripped bare. Though the Pearl's hull remains intact, French naval officials stated that it remains to be seen if the submarine is recoverable or a total loss. Due to the length and intensity of the blaze, the submarine's steel may have been structurally compromised beyond repair. F-15. Footage of a Russian Su-27 intercepting a US F-15C over the Baltic Sea has emerged online. The first fighter jet fended off the second by executing a dangerously close maneuver. The Russian Su-27 can be seen approaching the US F-15C from the right, before turning left at very close range in the direction of the fighter jet, forcing it to break away from the recording aircraft. AH-64 Apache. The US military says it is investigating an accident involving an Apache attack helicopter in southern Germany that resulted in damage to the aircraft but no injuries. The Apache AH-64D from the 12th Combat Aviation Brigade hit power lines during a routine training flight outside the village of Linden, north of Frankfurt. The helicopter had to land quickly and unexpectedly, and neither of the 2 people on board were hurt. That's all, friends. Thanks for watching. Write in the comments which case surprised you the most. Also, click the like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any new interesting videos.